And we're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our brand new segment of Hook, Line, and Striker.
Yeah.
Really excited. Kind of a brand new thing that we have started up here. There's a lot of really exciting things that happen, among the different teammates in the Striker. And so we thought between Josh and I that we could, start talking to everybody and hear about the different locations and kind of what's going on there. So today we're here with Dave Wasness.
Hey, Dave.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Dave Wasness. I'm a professional angler here in Fargo, North Dakota. I do a lot of fishing in North Dakota, Minnesota, Canada, really all over. And I've got a trip planned to get out to Fort Peck, Montana, too, later this year. So that should be fun. I'm a member of the FM Walleyes Club here in town. I did a lot with the youth education area, and I'm also a member of NPAA, which is the National Professional Anglers Association.
Cool.
And we see you doing a lot of different kinds of stuff to be involved. And so that's kind of a really cool thing, to be in your community and even farther beyond that. While we're here really quick, we have some people tuning in as we go. So we're going to kind of keep talking. But just as a reminder, if there's any questions that people have along the way, chime in because we can certainly read it on the screen and then we can make sure that we get the answers to things that you're talking about.
Right.
Because Dave, you're talking about all these different organizations. So as far as being an angler, how do you find out about your local organizations and how to be a part of them?
So a lot of the outreach that we do with FM Walleye, so we're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We post a lot of content. We've got our website, word of mouth. I know Shields in Fargo has been a huge supporter of the club. So really just reaching out to friends or other individuals that have the same passion we have around fishing. And FM Walleyes was incorporated in 1977, so it's been around for a long time. And their mission is to really promote conservation, sportsmanship, and education in respect to walleye fishing in the greater FM area. So great mission. We all have a passion for fishing. I grew up fishing with my dad and my grandpa when I was very young. And it's just something I really enjoy, and I like to share my passion with others and teach others how to fish and some of the stuff that I use on the ice and in the boat and all of that. So what better area to do that than to get involved with your local organizations and help teach kids. And it doesn't have to be kids. It can be anyone, young or old, anyone that wants to get into the sport of fishing and learn something new. Because even as professionals, we don't know everything about fishing. I learn something every time I'm on the water. Every time I'm with a new angler, they got something new to teach someone. So you're always learning. That's what's great about this sport.
Well, and you're talking about your different community organizations, and even smaller than the ones that you've mentioned so far. Sometimes your bait shops or your local fishing clubs and all of that. So definitely check out if there's anything like that by you. But especially this time of the year, it is really, really great to be connected with organizations like that because oftentimes you can get, up-to-date fishing reports or even ice reports. So with that, people are saying hi to my cat. Yeah, he hates when we go live because
we're not paying attention to him.
But we're talking about our local fishing organizations and getting up to date, ice reports. So do you have ice by you? I imagine you do.
Oh, absolutely. We got ice all over. I've been out ice fishing a few days, and you're right. Being part of some type of fishing organization or being close with the bait shops, you learn where the bite is and what lakes are safe to start driving out or what lakes are safe to only walk out. And we've got Ottertail Lake is a well-known lake that's close here, and I've been out on that lake. They've got about 12 to 13 inches of ice. Not quite safe enough to drive out. And in my opinion, I like to see that 14, 15 inches of good ice before I start venturing out with any type of vehicle. But the bite is good. If you just go to the first break line, that shoreline break line, and set up in 16 to 18 feet of water. I like to call it the Minnesota hour, that prime time, the last hour of light, and then about a half hour to hour after sunset, you could very easily pick up a limit of walleyes just on that break line. So good bite there. I've also been to some of the little pothole sloughs around in North Dakota chasing perch and crappies. A lot of these sloughs don't really have names, but they're fun to fish. And the North Dakota Game and Fish on their website, they'll indicate where a lot of these smaller lakes are and what type of fish are in there. So just doing a little bit of research on some of those lakes and finding out which ones are holding fish, and then check them out. So that you'll be surprised by what's in them.
Well, and we're having some people in the comments mention, they might have been to these places a long time ago. And, lakes do change over time. And so to have that up-to-date information and kind of know where things were and where they might be is really a very helpful tool that I think oftentimes gets overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we talk a lot in the group about some of the lakes close to us, Cormorant and Pelican being two big lakes that are very close to Fargo, and they've got zebra mussels that have really filtered those lakes and have made that water really clear, and that's adjusted the weed line. The weed line is now getting out to 19, even 20 feet. So you're having to change where you're setting up your portable shacks and your wheelhouses to make sure that you're on the edge of those weed lines so that you can get into some of those predator fish. So it's interesting how the whole ecosystem can change based on invasive species or just things over time.
So in hearing kind of you talk and kind of looking at your, I kind of looked at your Facebook profile, Dave Wasness Outdoors. I'm getting the, are you a walleye guy? Is it your favorite fish?
Absolutely. I would have to say walleye is my favorite.
So give us a tip for like maybe your favorite tactic.
Rattle baits. So a Northland Rip and Shad works very well. That's my go-to lure. I'll throw one of those on and start ripping that around. Usually if a walleye comes in, they're going to hit that hard. If they come in and they just swim away, then you know that it's sort of an off bite. Then I'll switch to like a buckshot spoon with a minnow head. But usually I'm hole hopping, fishing outside, and going from hole to hole with a large rattle bait to really call those bigger fish in and really get them to hit.
So with that being said, that is, a pretty intense strategy, hole hopping and all that. But I do know that you oftentimes are teaching people how to fish, or you have kids. So do you have a tip or strategy for when you maybe don't have the ability to hole hop so much? I like to use hub houses as a base camp. The Eskimo Outbreak has quickly became my favorite house. It has a large door. You unzip it and walk through. It's a trip-free type of door and great for kids, but just trying to have some fun with them. If the bite's slow, build a snowman, run around, pull them on a sled, just have some fun so that they know, hey, I went fishing and we didn't catch fish, but I had a blast making a snowman or getting in a snowball fight or just sledding around. So if you're pulling a sled out, if you're walking out and pulling a sled out for your gear, use that with the kids and have a fun time, especially during those slow periods of time. And throw some tip-ups out. The kids love chasing those flags, especially if you're on an area where there's a lot of northern pike around. Put those along the weed edge. You can have 2 lines per angler, so you can get a nice spread of tip-ups out when it's a slower time for walleyes, and the kids will have a blast chasing those flags. Yeah, absolutely. Nice. I think more than just the kids have fun chasing the flags. And here in Wisconsin, we're pretty lucky because we actually get 3 lines. So, that kind of adds a whole one more dimension. So that's,
yeah,
that's a good thing.
I'll one up you. In North Dakota, we get 4 lines. And I just found out Montana, when I go for lake trout, we get 6 lines on the eastern part of Montana. So that's going to be pretty cool.
That's going to be awesome.
Well, and I think especially at that point, being able to monitor all of those lines, there's a difference between 6 lines in no bite versus 6 lines in like crazy bite.
Yeah.
Oh, in New York, they have 7.
Oh, wow. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be crazy. I need a bigger sled.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is crazy. So is ice your favorite season then? Or I know you do a lot of open water boating.
I do a lot of open water fishing. It's hard to really pick a favorite because with open water, I find that it can be easier. It's so much quicker to move to another spot in a boat. Ice fishing, you just have that extra challenge. You have a good idea where the weed edge is, where you can set up, and that's sort of a high percentage point in getting some bites. And to move, you have to be a little more strategic on where you're going to move. Find that inside corner of a point, or a transition line from gravel to mud, or something like that. Trying to figure out that spot on a spot. Where open water, I don't want to say it's easy and I go out and I get my limit in 15 minutes every day. That's certainly not the case. I'm just saying that it's easier to move. It's easier to find some fish. Where ice fishing, you have to be more strategic about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've always heard people say, we just do open water to find the ice spots, but I think that there's so much there's so much learning to be done, the types of fish that are out there, or kind of what they eat, what the forage is. So, that is really fun to be able to get out on the boat too.
Yeah, there's different species that I like to target in a boat too. Like I head up to the Rainy River every spring to target lake sturgeon. I've got a friend. We've been going probably for at least the last 10 to 12 years. And the largest sturgeon we put in a boat was 72 inches, and just a monster. And you hook into anything over 40 inches and you're pretty much hooked on that for life. Yeah. They fight like nothing I can compare. And it's just so much fun. So now taking that ice fishing, I haven't caught one through the ice, and that's something that I'd like to do. You get a good idea of where they're located, but it's still one of those strategic things. You can't move around as quickly as you can in a boat, but setting up a hub house and drilling a larger hole and trying to target lake sturgeon through the ice, I think that would be a fun trip.
Yeah, how about you meet us halfway? We'll be on the lacrosse. Or St. Croix, sorry.
We'll have to plan that.
Being prepared for a trip like that, having the proper line, having the proper tackle, and I guess really planning, your location of not only where the fish are going to bite, but I can only imagine when that bite happens and that fish takes off. If you have too many other people close, you don't want lines tangled. There's really a lot of things that go into that kind of fishing.
Yeah, absolutely. The prep work, this weekend I'm going to Lake of the Woods with the wheelhouse. I'm already prepping for that, making sure I've got the right tackle for that body of water. We know that we'll be targeting walleyes. We know that we'll be running and gunning in the morning and evening, and we'll have a wheelhouse out for the day bite. So we need to bring the correct gear for what we're wanting to do. And then it's working with our friends. Well, do we want to bring tip ups and try and get some nice pike in shallow as well? So yeah, you're right. There's a lot of time and prep work that goes into these trips to make sure that you've got the correct gear to target those species.
So what are some of the things on your prep list?
Well, coming down to clothes, of course, with the striker, I'm a big fan of the climate suit. And that's just because of the versatility that suit has. You've got the liner jacket inside. I use that as my winter jacket. And then some of the added benefits that it has. This year they added the line cutters zipper pull. That is awesome to quickly cut and change your lures. So having a nice suit with, and having the transporter with all of your rods, the different rods that you need, whether you're targeting walleyes or pike, you can get your tip ups in that large center pocket. You can get your tackle in the sides. So making sure that you've got that prepared and filled with the correct gear. And then just running through your line, making sure you got new line on, that your rod hasn't just been sitting there from last year and you haven't respooled new line. Making sure that the hooks aren't dull and you're using old rusty hooks. Just making sure everything's prepared and ready to go, that your batteries are charged for your electronics and all of that. So yeah, there's some work involved.
Well, and you were talking about the striker bibs, and that's one of the things that I know about you. We just talked about this kind of before the show, but you have a really great video that you put out. You say that you do it once a year, but I remember last year's video is of you jumping in a pool. So tell us a little bit about this video and why you're doing this.
Yeah, so I've been the youth education coordinator for FM Walleyes for the past 4 or 5 years, and in December we hold a youth clinic, a seminar where we talk about ice safety. We talk about all the gear that anglers use on the ice to keep us safe, and then also the electronics that we use to find the fish. So we go through that seminar piece, and then we have an activity where they usually end up painting some jigs or rattle baits or making a predator rig for tip ups, some type of activity, get them moving around and involved. And then after that, we go to the pool and I do a demonstration of the SureFlow technology in the striker suits. And I've had a kid and myself jump into the pool with the suit on. And then I'll climb out and I'll take the jacket off and jump in again with just the bibs. And it's a great demonstration to show why we wear the striker ice suits, is because we want that added peace of mind, knowing that if we do fall in, that this is going to keep us buoyant and will help us roll out of the ice when we have our ice picks out and all of that necessary safety gear. So it's a great video. We've been posting it to the FM Walleyes Facebook page. We've shared it every year. This year, due to COVID, we weren't able to have the in-person seminar, but still a great reminder of ice safety and a seminar that we really, really enjoy putting on every year.
Well, and, just to even highlight what you're saying one more time, because that is really so important with the striker gear is, go early, go late, go prepared. Part of that being prepared is that float suit. So you're saying that you as an adult and also a youth wearing a youth suit can jump into the pool and can actually have some amount of buoyancy. Some people have these crazy ideas that if you're wearing bibs only, that you're going to float opposite or something. And, that kind of thing just doesn't happen. And it's super evident in your video. So for people who haven't seen that, it is the great demo of the youth and of the adult. But then, like you're saying, you go one more. And to have that suit that's already wet, but bibs only to jump in and still display that flotation feature is really, really a huge key of being a successful angler and having confidence to be on the ice all day.
Yeah, and I make it as realistic as possible. So I've got sweatpants on, a hoodie, hat, gloves, my striker boots. So I jump in with all of that. So those striker boots fill up with water, and then my legs, it's hard to explain, but they just pop up really quick with those bibs on to keep you floating and level. So it'd be very easy for you to roll out or slide out onto the ice if you do break through. It's a great video. If the viewers haven't seen any of those videos, I would highly recommend going to the FM Walleyes Facebook page, or Striker has shared it too, and just search the videos that they've posted. You'll see it pretty fast.
That's awesome.
And then we're also getting some people in the comments that are pointing out, we're here talking about the Climate Series bibs and how much we know and love that. That's what I wear too, I will admit. But the Predator suit has this feature. The Hardwater suit has this feature. The Prism women's suit has it. Quite frankly, everything that is an ice bib and jacket has this feature because that is kind of the core of Striker, is that safety.
Right.
And with the climate suit, I just got to add, so the insulated liner in the bibs, I usually never wear those out fishing because I'm hole hopping, I'm running around, but I have worn those, and specifically tailgating. We like our bison football here in Fargo, and some of those days, those early mornings, and it can get pretty cold. Well, when you're standing around tailgating, that insulation becomes pretty handy. So it's a nice feature, and I have been out on Devil's Lake in 20-mile-an-hour wind with the air temp -12, fishing outside with my climate suit on, and I've been comfortable. Now my line freezes up.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
It's funny that you do say that because that's exactly
the most frustrating
limiting factor.
part.
Yeah. I also laugh a lot because my other limiting factor is my dog, because she's come so accustomed to wearing my jacket in our sled that I need to steal it back.
I think I've seen those posts.
That's funny. So what's next for you coming up? Oh, I guess you said Lake of the Woods, and I guess more fishing.
Heading out on, the plan was to head out Friday, but we've got a nasty storm coming through on Thursday, and actually rain showers for Wednesday. It's mid-January, and we've got rain in the forecast, which is really weird. So that means it will be icy roads. So we're going to let that blow through and head up there Saturday morning and go for a few days out on Lake of the Woods. Again, we'll taking a wheelhouse for the day bite and have portables or fishing outside in the early mornings, late evenings to try and get that prime time shallow bite in.
Awesome.
And then for people who want to keep up with that adventure with you, how do they follow you?
You can go ahead and follow me at Dave Wasness Outdoors on Facebook or Instagram. So usually I post quite frequently when I'm out fishing, and I'll have a story going on what I'm using and how I'm using it and how my day's going. So.
Awesome.
Very cool.
And leave comments if you have questions, and I'm going to follow that and definitely get some walleye tips here. So hopefully one of these days we'll bump into you and I get to fish with you on the ice.
Yeah, that'd be a fun time.
Awesome. What else? That's it?
That's it, I think.
All right. Well, that is our first episode of Hook, Line, and Striker. We will see you guys next week. We are kind of flying across the country a little bit, and I think we're going to be talking perch. So cannot wait to see you guys